Today is October 23, 4 p.m. And please call the roll.
Chairperson Juan Garza.
Here.
Vice Chair Ted Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman John Lash.
Present.
Alderman Emmanuel Llamas.
Here.
Alderman Brandon Tolliver.
Here.
5 present.
Okay. First, approval of the minutes for item 23-0812.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Motion approve the minutes for October 9 from John Lesh and second Alderman Lamas. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
motion pass. Okay. Public comments?
We have no one signed up for public comment today.
Okay. Can you please read the item in the agenda?
Item 23-0848, a resolution authorizing an agreement for a 3-year subscription with 2 option years for digital services and website software from Granicus, Denver, Colorado for a total amount of $584,090.00.
Should work. Good afternoon, Tony Martinez, Director of Communications. And if I could just get my clicker to work. Okay, I think. There we go. Okay, so this afternoon I'll be talking about the website and digital services transformation project. Give you a little overview. Well over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, it came in front of this committee for a website vendor for our new website. As we embarked on that journey to develop a new website for the city, obviously we wanted to make sure that this, whatever website solution we did provide, was something that was transformative, something that was as digital as possible, right, to make the user experience for our residents and the public as easy, effective, and as efficient as possible. You know, and that's really hard when we're talking about websites because the technology landscape is always changing, right? And we said that from the beginning, right? We want to make sure that we provide the best product that's out there for our citizens. Well, as we embarked on that journey with our previous website vendor, there were a couple big changes in the technology landscape, especially with some of the vendors that we did initially talk to. And two of the vendors out of the top 5 that we did initially interview for this project, they were called Open Cities and Granicus. We really loved both. Actually, we really loved both platforms. We loved Open Cities because that was a great website interface. It was simple, easy to use. One of the drawbacks was, I don't know how flexible it might be. I don't know how, if they could really integrate with all the government products that we do have on our current website. Granicus, we loved Granicus because it has had a strong backbone. Because Granicus is what we use as Legistar. That's what we use for all our agenda management and video push out for all of our city council meetings. But their website interface wasn't the best, out there at that time. Well, as we embarked on the project with our previous website vendor, we worked with all the departments. We created, really fine-tuned the content. We made some mock-ups of what the website will look like. We're really down that road. But there was key acquisitions made in the technology landscape by Granicus and Open Cities. Actually, Granicus acquired Open Cities. So basically, 2 out of our top 5 that we did merged. Right, so what Granicus was doing and still doing to this day is they're really buying the best in class in the different sectors that they're really trying to go after. Really, they want to be the leading, obviously the leading company for government entities to go to have an all-in-one package, whether it's website, whether it's meeting and agendas, 311, service requests. They want to have, the best in class all-in-one package. So as we were, fine-tuning that final product with our previous website vendor, we knew what Granicus was doing. We saw the product that they came out with, and with their acquisition of Open Cities, we saw it be really transforming a transformative solution that we really, really loved. So we had to sit down, we had to have some conversations with folks internally, obviously with leadership, to see, do we continue on this journey with our previous website vendor, or does it make sense to make the change and really go with Granicus, who we already have a couple products with, because the product is so transformative and so engaging, the one that they came out with while we're going through this website project. So after much discussions, we decided that not only does it make financial sense, but it does make a business case to making sure that we provide the most effective and efficient solution out there for our citizens, and we decided we wanted to go with Granicus as our new website provider. Give you a little bit about Granicus. Granicus in 60 seconds. They're the largest GovTech company in the United States. They have over 5,500 customers. They have around 350 state-level customers. So they are a huge. They are the big fish in the industry. And once they acquired Open Cities, obviously they acquired some other customers. So here you could see, from the federal, state, local, international level, all the customers and all the government entities that they do provide service to. And in the right-hand column, Open Cities is their portion, is their segment of their company, which is their website. And you'll have Columbus, Ohio, Palo Alto, San Antonio, Texas are some of their customers that utilize that Open Cities or the website portion of their business. In your agenda packet also, there is a document there that has links to those websites, so you can see those examples, the government examples of websites that they've made for those organizations. And they are a very large company with over 1,000 employees. So when we talk about solutions, what solution do they provide, right? So when we embarked on the website journey, we wanted to make sure that we created a website, but something that really integrates everything that we do. We are a very complex organization. We have many touch points, but we have to have that website. The website is our glue that really keeps everything together, right? We want to make sure that that user experience, when somebody goes to the website, is as efficient and fluid and easy as possible, right? And Granicus provides many different solutions in the digital world. These are a list of some of them here. And you see, as I mentioned, they just acquired Roxile, who was a leader in 311. In their Gov Delivery, which is their website portion, they acquired Open Cities while we embarked on this journey. So what they call now is their government suite, their government experience cloud technologies. So these are all the services, really, what they provide here in kind of 8 blocks. So with this contract, with the website, we'll be having 6 out of the 8. So the boxes with the blue underlines under them, they're the current products that we currently have from Granicus, and we've been a customer with them for many years, which is the agenda and video management and the public records access and delivery application that we have. So with this contract, we're looking for the website, we're adding the engagement and sentiment portion, email and SMS, and forms and workflow products that they offer. So with Granicus, obviously, they look at everything with a holistic lens, right? And how your ecosystem can work with their ecosystem, right? So what they constantly do, they have strategy and programs. They use a lot of data and insight. So, since the beginning of the project, I've always stressed that I want to make, data-driven decisions. I don't want to make a decision based on what I like or what anyone else likes. We need to make sure that we make decisions that are research-based and backed up with data, so that way we make that user experience, that customer journey as friendly as possible. They help with the creative and the content, and then they also provide very extensive training and resources for staff as we embark on this journey. So they teach us how to use a website, but then they also have a lot of training tutorials for the public also. So I kind of go over the numbers here. So the website costs for implementation You'll see we have the implement one-time fee of $199,931, and then you see it broken down year by year how much the total contract is just for the website. So it's $584,000 and $584,000 and $584,090. So as we embarked, as this agenda item was being finalized, with the committee's recommendation and approval, we would like to modify the agenda item number, the contract number, to reflect the current services we also have with Granicus. So pretty much it's taking the website costs, including the services we already have with them. So the Legistar, we have boards and commissions, we have the GovQA, which is the forms, and was it the document, the FOIA process that we have with them, and that'll bring the total cost of $1.27 million for the entire contract. So basically, what they're going to do is just put everything all in one master service agreement, and you'll see that master service agreement in the agenda packet, and have all the services all in one, so that way we're not trying to manage 5 different contracts with the same vendor. So basically, we're just combining everything into one master service agreement, so then we're paying just one bill and not 5 different bills at one time. So that is the presentation. I know there'll probably be some questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions, comments? Yes.
I'm not sure if I missed this at the beginning of the presentation. With the contract that we approved last year for the website design, did anything come of that? I mean, did they get started and then we realized that now Granicus has these other companies under its belt?
So it did. So yeah, we went through the project. I mean, there are some website mock-ups. We got pretty far down in the project. There were some gaps, with that product of how we're going to address it, that we needed some customization based on our need. And that's where we saw what Granicus came out with. It really suited our needs, and we thought it was the most future-proof product that's out there. And that's why you see in the contract that's before you, it's for 3 years with an option of 4 and 5. Because we recognize that, okay, just like this project happened, technology changes really fast. We don't want to lock ourselves into a 5-year contract. Let's do 3, and then have an option to renew for 4 and 5 if we see that necessary.
How long did it take from the time that we approved that contract to us deciding that it's not going to work out? Let's go with Granicus.
It took about a year, because we didn't have really what that final product was going to be. By the time we did some onboarding, by the time we, got everyone together and really launched the project, it really wasn't until the start of this year, really, of January, to really hit the ground running. And then we started seeing the product. We had a great relationship with our previous website vendor, and that wasn't, the issue. It was just, okay, Granicus has this really one-of-a-kind, best-in-class product with all-inclusive, and obviously with some changes that are going to be happening, next year with the department and how we're going to shift focus, and really, focus more on kind of proactive communication. Granicus also has the communication hub integrated with their website, where we can do email campaigns, we can send out text blasts, we can do a lot of engaging feedback, two-way communication for projects to solicit feedback from residents, which was really, really attractive, on the communication side and the engagement side, to be able to continue to have a two-way communication and engagement, with our residents. That was really that Granicus offers that, and is unlike any other service provider that's out there currently.
Thank you for that context. Just one last quick question. Of that original contract, what dollar amount or percentage did we spend, or did we already are we responsible for, I guess? Yeah,
so we did pay for the first year for that contract, and that was it was $114,000 for that contract. The way that contract was developed, and that's something we did look at, because usually when we come with website contracts, it's really it's really front loaded, right? There's those one-time costs and then the yearly subscriptions after that. With our previous website vendor, actually it was just equal payments over 5 years, so there wasn't any one-time costs in those contracts. So that's why it made it actually a lot more financial sense when we looked at it at that end, where, okay, this contract is really split up in mostly 5 even payments, didn't have those one-time payments in there. And you know, we had a conversation with our previous website vendor, and we mutually agreed that to part ways, you know, after that first year. So it was really just those first year costs.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Chairman, I'm sorry, Mr. Martinez, but well, first of all, I appreciate the presentation and what you shared with us, but I'm still at loss to understand, because there was a lot of thought put into that website last year. And I really find it hard to think how technology changes in 1 year's time so quickly that we abandoned $114,000 of effort to now look at something completely different, and then try to understand, do we really need these extra? Is it really required? Do we really need these extra elements? There's like 6 elements in this package, 3 we already have, 3 you're introducing. And 2 of them were part of my questions for you in regards to email, SMS, and community engagement. 10 digital projects per year under community engagement. Just for the first part. I mean, I don't mind newsletter for project updates, communication, but it's like, explain to me how I can tell the residents. I still don't have a clear picture to tell them that this was okay.
Yeah.
And this is okay, and we're gonna move forward with something like this, because I'm listening to what you're saying here, and these are some of your own words. You know, the previous product wasn't flexible. Website interface was not the greatest. There were gaps. So based on your words, how do you explain it to the resident that how would an alderman tell a resident, yeah, last year we approved that contract, and now, hey, we got these, that was recommended to us, 114,000 gone, and everything you just said just now, and I would just previously reiterated.
Yeah, so when you're talking, so I guess there's a lot of questions in there, so I'll try to address them all, and then let me know if I didn't answer any of them. Well, first is kind of the different elements, right? You said we may not need certain portions of it. The communication aspect is big. So right now we use MailChimp, Constant Contact. We use text messaging and other platforms. This way, we can get everything all in one platform to make it more effective and efficient.
So we have that already then?
Yeah, but they're all
have that
in. So
ability.
they're all in different. So me as a digital communications person, right, as the director of communications, you know, as we morph and things change here in the city for next year, and our strategic direction changes a little bit. All of those communication tools are in totally different programs, right? I can't just take a snapshot and see everything, all what's sent out, what's given back in one program. I have to touch all these different. That's not efficient when it comes to managing a communications platform or communication strategy. So really, to try to get everything all in one is the most effective and efficient way for me as as a director of communications to be able to effectively reach citizens whenever I need to, whenever we want, and to really keep the pulse on what's happening, right? Because I have all these different programs that are really not, they don't talk to each other, they don't integrate well with each other, and they're all separated.
Yeah, but these are things that have been brought before us and we've approved. I mean, based on the experience of staff. I mean, we have to count on your experience and the experience of everybody at the city in order, to be able to make these decisions. Say, okay, yeah, sure, let's expand this, let's spend this money. And it still comes to my main question. It still seems a little bit of a contradiction right now based on what you just mentioned a little while ago in your presentation. We already have these programs. What are the costs for those programs compared to what the costs are going to be here for Granicus? See, like right now, you just raised another question. How do we know what's going on with MailChimp? We even have Zen City. Zen City is also a platform to help engage with the residents and whatnot. How does that blend in with whatever you're talking about here with this program with Granicus? So right now, based on our just basic, simple conversation here, I have even more questions.
Okay.
And I don't understand. And in my mind, to say, yes, let's abandon $114,000. It is what it is. And let's go spend even more money and probably abandon a whole bunch of other projects and programs that we already have going. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say we abandoned $114,000. I wouldn't say that because
It's because it does sound like that because you just said that the previous program wasn't flexible. The website interface was not the greatest. They had a lot of gaps. That's why it wasn't recommended to stay with it. So these are just your words.
yeah, they're my words. So I'm not saying it's not abandoning it. So what I'm saying is that if you take the communication, the website costs right now. So this $584,000 is our previous website vendor cost was that contract was $605. So we're talking about $15,000 probably less just with these costs alone. And then if you take away the communications portion that you're talking about, that might be unnecessary in your eyes. That portion isn't.
I didn't say it wasn't necessary.
Or just didn't understand.
Please don't say that. I didn't say that.
So
We already have it. You said we already have it in one form or another.
well, in one form or another, but not in our website product or communication
Right.
product. So then if you take that communication portion out of this website solution that's in front of you, that would be an extra $25,000 a year. So if you look at these numbers here, the website costs, that's why it says with Communications Cloud. If you take out the Communications Cloud with the solution, it's $25,000 less each year, right? So then, if you take out the Communication Cloud and you really compare apples to apples with a previous website vendor and this one, it's really the same amount of money if you look at it.
Okay.
You're really breaking even.
So, but we don't have the numbers in front of us. Second topic that I want to bring forward to. So you said that we worked on it for a year with this previous contract. It didn't work out. I look at what the project timeline is with Granicus, and there's two phases here. One phase goes into the first quarter of 2025, and the other one goes into the second quarter of 2024. What assurances would we have that time frame is still going to be what we need, and that we're not going to run into gaps, flexibility issues when it's already happened once?
Yeah, so advantages with Granicus, they are a much larger company, right? So they're over 1,000 employees. They have over 5,500 customers, right? They have state agencies, over 350 state agencies just here in Illinois. So we'll have 4 dedicated individuals from their team to be able to not only project manage, but also provide oversight and that constant communication to make sure that we stay on that timeline. Your question is not out of bounds. I mean, we had that same question too, and that's what we met with Granicus also, to making sure that this timeline that they proposed was a timeline that they could stick to, and what resources are going to be dedicated to making sure that does happen. With the city of San Antonio and the other recent one is the city of Columbus, Ohio. They're very recent clients for Granicus now, and they are sticking to that same timeline that they proposed to us. They're doing a 2-phase approach. The first phase comes out 6 to 8 months after signing the contract. After those 6 to 8 months, they provide the first phase of the website, and then the rest follows as what the timeline follows.
Well, I'll tell you what my challenge is right now, first and foremost. And I definitely want to be supportive, but the one thing that I am a challenge right now is understanding the true cost of this. Cost of what we're paying right now, even with all those ancillary products and including Chipmunk that you mentioned, and how is that going to compare to what we're going to be paying for Granicus, including the $114,000 we've already paid. I'd love to know exactly what the costs are, straightforward, and especially before myself thinking that we can move on from this, from this committee at this point. I appreciate your candor and sharing with us some of these numbers as well, but I think we just need a few more numbers just to make sure that we know exactly what's happening, especially since we've already tried this once at some level, and we're looking to change course.
Yeah.
I'd rather measure twice and cut once at this point. That's what I'm trying to get at. Myself
Absolutely.
personally, I'm not speaking for the committee, so.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and this wasn't a decision that was taken lightly, and that's why it did take a little while and conversations to have, because really looking at it is in the long term, we really want to have a solution that's as long-lasting as possible, and one that is transformative, and one that we're confident in. And we really think this solution is, and we'll provide those. I can definitely provide some more numbers to make it
Well, I'd
a
like
lot
to
more sense, kind of
understand,
black
too,
and white,
exactly.
and to understand.
I'm sorry, but I want to understand exactly what we're trying to do here, because we have approved so much for technology, so much for, I don't know if it falls under your department or IT department or a little bit of both. Just to understand exactly what are the true costs here, what are we really talking about? Because I'm not really an IT guy.
Yeah, definitely.
I really am not. And like I said, I really want to be supportive, but I'd really love to know what are we, where are we today? And where are we looking to go, especially with this contract, proposed contract?
Perfect. We
And
can
what
do
it
that for
means
you.
for the city, because I still don't understand how to explain it to the residents at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's all. I don't want you to take it in the wrong way.
No, appreciate appreciate the comments, and we'll have some
I
numbers.
really, and I would have loved to call you before. I thought it was just a simple couple of questions, because some things didn't add up in terms of numbers and the scope of work as I was reading through, and I just wanted to ask a couple of questions on emails and community engagement, and I thought we'd be pretty much straightforward, so with moving with this thing through, but it seems like it's a little bit there's a little more to dig into.
Yeah, I mean, it is a complex solution. I mean, it's a complex solution because you're trying to, tie in everything together, right? And that's where, so you're trying to create a solution that's not only just website. So now, you're looking at something that's a little bit more robust, that's not only website.
Well, check this out. You said that, it's going to make your life a little easier. And I
Absolutely.
understand that, and I respect that, and I think the city council has been very supportive of making life easier for staff. But I think at this point, we need to understand exactly, just like with I don't want to bring another project in with the garbage containers and how it's going to save some time. If we could have a little bit more information on that too, I mean, all around how it's going to benefit staff, how it's going to benefit the city. I'd like a better, clearer understanding if you're not ready to do it. And I know that you're not ready with the numbers right now.
Yeah, the numbers are, I mean, I have the numbers, but I mean, it's easier to, provide that to you guys than trying to, rattle them off the top of my head and you guys write them down. So we can definitely get you the numbers. We have to, because like I said, we do use other, technology pieces to do communications, whether it's Constant Contact, MailChimp, we do have texting, things like that. Those are numbers that we can definitely get together also. So like I said, but, the baseline is this solution, this website solution without the communications, just even throw out the communications part, it is a break even, if we
Understand, it makes
forward.
sense to bring things under one umbrella with a big company. But I would recommend the presentation to be more about, not bigger is better. Does that make sense? A little bit more explanation about what we're getting here. And, because that's what I'm hearing a little bit, is bigger is better without an explanation why. And I understand you're saying you're going to bring in more administrators, more project managers. You didn't never explain it to me that the other company wasn't providing it or not, what the difference is between administrators or whatnot, and what their commitment was at this point. I don't remember what we approved 12 months ago with the previous website, and I'm really not sure what we approved, with every other little ancillary web-based product or software product in the past that you referred to. But I definitely, I understand what you're trying to do, and definitely I can support that, but I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Basic
Yeah,
sense, yeah.
no problem.
So I don't know, I would like to just keep it here for at least 2 more weeks if my colleagues would support that. And then, so we get more information.
I'd be opposed to that. I think some other people have questions too.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to see, first of all, what is the timeline if we say go to get it up and running? What is your projected timeline?
So once we get the contract and the master service agreement it's the timeline is based on approval here in November 14th, so at City Council. So what that looks like is 6 to 8 months from there will be the first phase that will be launched for the website. So we're looking at between probably June, July to launch that initial website, first portion of the website. Then after that, if you look in the timeline that's also in your agenda packet, first quarter of 2025 will be the entire rollout of the entire website.
Okay. And then, so almost 2 years. Or a year.
It's about 16, 17 months really
Okay.
you're looking at for an entire website rollout.
And then I want to follow up on some of the integration questions that my colleagues asked,
Mm-hmm.
which is, have we dry run this? Have we run Zen City through their process? Have we run our portals through there to check to see if 365 works with the email client? And I mean, I had all the same questions, but I just feel like, have we tried it? Because I'm very familiar with IT salesmen. They always overpromise. On the back end is some geek guy that never wants to, talk to the public.
Yeah.
And, there's always a gap between, and then a lot of software companies don't provide the adequate service. Now, I'm assuming a lot of our staff are familiar with Granicus because of its other uses within the city. But I'm just curious, what all have we dry run?
Having, dry run, the communication portion, we have talked to the references, obviously, with the different government agencies that they do have. We did some, reference checks on other agencies. They said that, the program has been working great. All of the different suites that they do have been, working to their liking, and like they said they'll be working. When I'm talking about the communication and engagement hub, it's basically, on the front side of it is if a resident wants to stay up to date with things that are happening throughout the city, they can sign up for different they can sign up for different newsletters, things like that, kind of like we do have right now. But right now it's not integrated into the website or in one platform, right? It's different platforms that we communicate out of. So that's why it's a lot difficult to navigate for us. With this all in one, you can subscribe as a resident, and on my end, I can, when I need to send out either emergency or an events or a news update, I can pick how I want to send it, and the resident can pick what's the preferred method of receiving that message, whether it's an email, whether it's a text, whether it's a push notification, something like that. That way, I can see when a resident comes in, what they elect to receive and how they want to receive it. It just makes it a little bit more efficient and effective both ways on how to deliver the information and how they would like to receive it. Zen City is not the same. They're alike but different at the same time. So Zen City, they do have a survey component, community engagement component of it. Their survey component is limited to a certain amount based on the contract. Theirs is a little bit more engaged, where they actually do the research, behind the scenes, things like that. It's not really kind of an apples to apples comparison. Nor are we replacing this engagement in terms of what we're looking for on the website with what Zen City does. There are some different nuances there, and they're used a little differently. So for another example, what Granicus has, and I can send you guys examples, they're in the links also. When we have a project, so if we have a big project like the casino project, or we have a controversial topic, things like that, we can create different web pages and engagement pages for those different projects where people can interact and have a two-way communication with whoever's on my team or whoever who's managing the page or the project, and they can see those status updates in real time and also respond to those. We can create really more like a discussion board, on those different project pages to keep everyone a little bit more engaged, a little bit informed in real time than what we currently do. So there's just a lot of different facets that we can help keep the community engaged in a little bit more than we currently do at this moment.
And then another question is, I'm assuming this is being handled by your department in partnership with IT.
Absolutely.
who's responsible for carrying it across the line, and do we have a dedicated person? Because I see how your department gets pulled into all the PR stuff that we do in the city, and you do it well, I'm not saying, but I can see how this project needs one person that's gonna acquire, if they don't have it already, the technical competencies, be able to integrate with all the other departments to get the content put together and get it up. Are we gonna have one dedicated person?
We will. So it's a great partnership with IT in the IT department. So we have a project manager that's assigned from the IT department. So they'll handle the actual timeline, make sure, the documentation, the communication. William Brown is a project manager, and he's done a great job from the IT department, even with our previous, website vendor. And he came on later in that project because there was some turnover in that staff there. But yes, we do have a dedicated resource on the city side, from the IT side, and then also from our department too, that we have dedicated resources for the project. But really the main one is the IT project manager, who makes sure that we hit those targets, make sure that all the communication is streamlined, and they communicate with the vendor and with their project manager on their, or the project managers on their side.
And then back to the integration, is any of this tied into building and permitting at all? I know we've got a new texting system with that. I'm just curious if there's any.
So yeah, they did a preliminary look at, so we're looking at integrating all of that into into the solution, right? So basically we're looking and try to digitize all the services and how all throughout City Hall, right? Not just communication, but yeah, the building permits, water billing, and try to digitize and making it a smoother process in every really facet that anyone interacts with the city. So those will be looked at, and how those applications feed into the current offerings, from Granicus.
And have they beta tested theirs? Any integration, or is that part of a phase 2, phase 3 down the road?
So once we embark on the journey of picking the website vendor, then they go in and they evaluate the different applications that feed into the website. So once they evaluate those applications, they say, okay, whether or not they work well, or come up with recommendations on how to get those to integrate with each other. Right.
Okay, and then I wanted the contract itself is 1.27 for 5 years.
It's for 5 years. That's with the optional 4 and 5. Yeah.
Okay, and that also includes our existing Granicus service for the same time period. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. So if you look, in the agenda packet, you'll see.
I was sure it was. I just wanted to verify.
Yeah. So you'll see
you're
it,
running
in the scope of work. You'll see the terminated. You'll see I think at page 16. I think it's. You'll see the terminated services. So they'll terminate all of our current services and start new subscription services, and you'll see that, and that's all outlined in the statement of work. So basically, you're getting everything all in one contract, having all the same start and end dates, so that way we don't have any outlying products out there that are serviced by Granicus. Try to get everything in one.
Okay. So I think that's the bulk of it. I'm certainly willing to support the effort to keep it here if you want to see the numbers, Alderman Masiacos, but if I have additional questions, I'll email them.
Yes.
Thank you. I just have one follow-up question
Yeah.
based on the comments from my colleagues. First of all, let's see, how can I say? I want us to have a new website as soon as possible. I'm
Yeah.
just kind of disappointed that not that nothing has happened, but that we don't have one up and running yet based on what we approved last year. But I understand all of this takes time, so it's better for me that we consider this last year maybe a delay, but we're going to have a better finished product. So I'm perfectly fine with that. But for the rest of our colleagues who might have similar questions about the old contract versus the new, the all-in-one package versus us paying individually to all these separate services, between now and, if we were to approve it today, between now and COW, would you be able to update the presentation to have even just a simple chart
Absolutely.
showing what we pay now for all these additional services and what it would be? I guess, that compared to then our bundle here, so that we can see it's going to be the same thing, just that it's going to be all, in one package, easier for everyone else.
Absolutely, and I could probably have highlights. I know it's outlined in the statement of work also, but make it a little bit more apparent of what we're actually getting and what the benefits are for both us as a city and constituents also. When you talk about effective and efficient communication.
And I would recommend it, if you can, just do it as a separate attachment in
Absolutely.
our agenda, so that way it's obvious we want to,
Yeah.
like, scroll through for it?
Definitely. We
Thank you,
definitely
Tony.
do that, yeah.
Okay,
Madam Chairwoman, can I
yes.
add a few things? I was down in my office and was listening in. So it's Alex Alexandru, Chief Management Officer. So you're aware of the sequence when we bring these things through Legistar. Legistar is a Granicus product. We don't approve anything to come to any committee until we're certain of our numbers, our contract, the way it works. There's a sequence, and a number of people have to look at this before it gets to me or it gets to Alex Voigt, depending on which committee, and then we release it. But the key there is it's a Granicus product. We have long desired, all of you have asked for years about a new website. Your predecessors complained about the website. In my 23 years here, we have desperately needed a new website. So the Granicus product has been tested, has been reviewed. I would encourage all of you to look at their numerous cities around the country that have an outstanding website that they have produced, and they can integrate with pretty much everything. So what staff will do by COW, they will bring you, Alderman Mesiacos, the full breakdown, and I think Alderman Leish, you were looking for I may have misheard this, but what services and programs we pay now will go away to be consolidated here. So I think we will provide that, but there is a time sensitivity element to this because we want to get the Granicus team going to get a new website for the public. This will make interacting with the city, communicating with the city, so much better and put us on par with other communities where right now we are not. And so whatever information you would like in addition to what they provided, we will provide it to you. We'll get it to you prior to COW. It'll be separate attachments. And we're also willing to meet with all of you individually, 2 by 2, to explain that information. But this is mission critical to so many different things: community engagement, communication, our building and permits process, our, you name it, special events. Everything is going to get tied in off this platform. And the efficiencies to be gained by using the same group that does our Legistar. Legistar has been very effective for us. They have these bundles in other communities, smaller than us, larger than us. So we're very confident that this is the product for us, but we're willing to provide you additional information. But we can certainly get it to you before COW.
Motion to approve.
I would like to say I understand what you're saying, and I respect that very much. And I've personally gone forward with that type of a comment on other things before. The only challenge here is we've already approved something a year ago, and we're a year later. So my professional thoughts are, when we have something of this nature, is to measure twice and cut once. With something at this juncture, with something of this nature, of what we're presented with, and trying to understand exactly what we're doing and moving it forward to our colleagues at COW. So I'm not ready to vote no on it, but I'm not ready to vote yes. If my colleagues want to move forward with approving this and to COW, that's fine, but I will take up I'm not going to vote yes or no on it. But I will take you up on your offer to meet with someone to go over this a little bit more thoroughly if my colleagues decide to move it forward, because I'm not comfortable going back to my colleagues at COW or even after this meeting and saying, hey, I personally understand exactly what's happening all around on this one. So I just hope you understand, like I told Mr. Martinez, it's not personal. It's just a matter of just understanding in general. And I'm only one person out of 5 here. So I think it's pretty straightforward.
We have a motion to approve.
Madam Chair, I have one more quick question. if you don't
Yes.
mind. So this is just to, Granicus is great at some things, but this would be our first time testing it in this platform my number one concern is that we've thoroughly tested it, which I believe that Mr. Martinez has answered. But I have a second ask where Granicus absolutely fails, is that we can't even get it as something that works on our laptop computer, and the fact that we have to have 2 or 3 devices to use it, to me, is unacceptable in today's technology, and somewhat speaks to it's a clunky system. It's excellent for handling board documents, which is what it does, but it is a clunky system. So I would like to see us push them to give us something better on that front.
You know, and I'm glad you brought that up because it really reemphasizes why we picked Granicus, why we went back to Granicus. They knew that was, and they know front-end user experiences was one of their weaknesses. That's why they acquired Open Cities, which is, at the time, the leader in government websites in front-end user experience. So Granicus has a great backbone, right? So they do data, they have the infrastructure. They bought Open Cities to make sure that they had a good website solution and one that is the best in class. So to add to their suite of services, and what you're referring to, Legistar, is it's a different thing. So OpenCity doesn't address that, but but for the website, what we're talking about today, they are OpenCities is the leading in website interfaces for government entities.
And that's what we're getting.
And that's what
we're not getting a beta,
No.
untested platform.
Yeah.
And we've talked to other communities, and I've talked to my colleagues who have the Open Cities, now Granicus combo, and it's been great, and high resident satisfaction.
And in your agenda packets, there's a document called Granicus Website Examples. All the 5 examples that have links to them are all Open Cities Granicus sites. So they're all Granicus sites, but specifically with the Open Cities website product.
Yeah, but it's good if we see what we approved a year ago, exactly. So, and understand exactly now what we're doing. And like Alderman Masiaco say, we need to understand perfectly to explain our constituents what's going on and why we want to have this one now. So I don't know what decide to do in here. We have already motion to pass, but we don't have no second. So they mean
Motion to hold.
motion to hold.
Second.
So
Okay.
can we just understand exactly what you would like us to bring back in 2 weeks? Or would you like us to meet with you in 2 weeks? Please help me understand so I can direct the staff.
My request was pretty much, and I think I already said on record, understand exactly what is it we're bundling, what we're stepping away from, what we're paying for now, and what we're going to be paying for once all those bundles are removed. We only have one piece of that puzzle right now, and that's $114,000 for the webpage. And that's the key element right now, in this whole equation.
So we'll get that to you. And with enough time, we'll get that to you this week and invite you to look at the examples that Tony talked about, the other websites that are Open City. We'll have it broken down and then invite you all to contact us for any questions. And we're happy to meet with you as well.
Because it seems like it's more than just a web page at this point.
Well, I understand.
That's why.
It's a package.
Right.
And to add on to that, I think you also asked for costs. If there's going to be additional cost for ZenCity to write a patch or something, because we saw that with ShotSpotter, right? We paid them for integrating into.
ZenCities has
and
nothing
then-
to do with this.
Well, but we're trying to integrate some of these existing softwares. That was the argument.
Yeah, but not
that was given.
ZenCity.
I'm sorry. If there are any existing softwares that we are trying to patch into this, and they have affiliated costs with getting their product to integrate into the Granicus site, that I think we need to know that. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
Our understanding is this is all in cost.
It is, yeah. So
And
it's a
that's
cost
per
of
the
integration.
scope of services that you have. So we're not going to get nickel and dimed by Granicus.
They custom, they do the integration portion with other applications, so,
So they do it on their end and they pay for it?
yeah, they do.
Understood.
they
It's
do
all
it on that,
included.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they've done it in other communities, so it's in our scope for them to do it for us.
I have a question. let's see, now I just lost it. The original contract, Tony, earlier you said that we spoke to our previous vendor and we just mutually agreed to just part
Yes.
ways. Does that mean that it's legally terminated?
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
So right now, the alternative, with all the information that you guys want, that you could easily have on a one-on-one with any staff member, once you have that information, and let's say it shows that we're gonna break even, or even that we're paying a little bit more now, are we just gonna deny it and not have a new website because there's no other option right now? I just wanna make sure that everybody understands that part too.
But we have an existing website up and running, is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Existing, we just don't have an improvement package. What we're deciding on is the improvement package.
But the,
So we do have a website, and we would continue to have a website.
you're not wrong, Alderman. We have a website, but it is substandard, and we continue to take hits from our constituents about it. It doesn't serve the public like it should. Frankly, it's just so outdated, so there is no plug-in package to upgrade it. So right now, I think you need to look at the glass half full, with all due respect. We could have proceeded with City Base, but we recognized partway into it, it just wasn't a good fit. And so we were able to talk to them without litigation, without any other dispute, and mutually parted ways. Whatever work had been done proprietarily was back to us, so we're not having to reinvent the wheel. And in fact, the basis of the work, no pun intended from City Base, is being applied to the Granicus effort. So it's not like we got completely nothing out of it. It just, sometimes it happens. And so we picked up the ball, revisited Granicus, looked at our positive existing relationship, and the fact that they purchased the number one vendor out there. So even if we were going to go back out to bid, I'm certain the fee would be higher, and probably substandard market responses, because Open Cities is the best in class. So that's where we're at. But it's not the administration's choice to leave what's in place there. We have to keep pushing to improve the website like we've improved other aspects of our technology for our residents and for our own employees to utilize and be more efficient and effective, and for you all to engage better with your constituents.
Thank you for that, Alex.
Okay.
Since no one said anything, I agree
I
with
mean,
you.
it's the truth. That's what
100%.
we're trying to do.
It's what we all need. It's what we had this discussion last year, so I'm surprised that now we want to hold it here. And somebody even made a comment earlier saying that we've been passing a lot of technology-based items. Well, this is the Infrastructure and Technology Committee, so there's going to be a lot of public works projects and a lot of IT projects because that's what we're supposed to do. And I just feel like we don't give the same level of criticism to other committees or other staff members, but now because we're talking about technology and we all use Microsoft Word, we think that we're all experts in technology. We should go by what our experts here are presenting to us. And if they're telling us this is the best project or the best product, and it's going to integrate all these other products that they use on a daily basis to make the entire website, the entire experience better for residents, better for us, for staff, why wouldn't we do it? I mean, I think we have to be careful here in trying to step on. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Madam Chairwoman, if I can make a suggestion, up to you, rather than hold it here for 2 weeks, you also have the option to forward it with no recommendation. And then in those 2 weeks, we will get you all the information you need, meet with you. That would be our preference if you're not going to vote on it today, or if you're going to vote to hold it. Just a request.
But just
Staff
for
has made these requests before.
Madam Chair,
Oh,
just
yes.
before we regurgitate a few things and string together a thought, the key element here is understanding all the projects we have. I'm going to say it again, that we have approved in the past, because I don't have a photogenic memory. Understanding what those costs were and understanding what we're getting in converse here with this program and what we're moving into this program and how the costs compare. I know it's not the Finance Committee, but we also look at numbers. And again, I can't tell my colleagues at COW or my constituents after this meeting or anybody in the city of Aurora exactly, I understand the big picture about what we're doing here, program-wise and dollar-wise. with moving over to Granicus. And like I said, I have no issue with the concept of going with Granicus and going with a big picture kind of company that's going to be all encompassing, but I'd like to understand it before I move forward and approve it. Most importantly, because we've already approved something that a year ago was great, and staff put a lot of thought into it, and it seems like you put even more thought into it, which is appreciated. So, but it's not all here. The big picture, everything is not in line for the big picture to understand it, to say to my colleagues, yes, I'm ready to go, yes, to the community, why I voted yes for it. And that's what I'm saying. And it's not whatever Alderman Yamas strung together, at least from my point of view. So we already have a web page right now, and the city. No, it's not ideal. We've been waiting. We waited till last year, and I understand it's mission critical, but I don't think it's going to put the city back. We're back a year already based on it coming here to be relooked at and to put under Granicus. So 2 weeks. Actually, no, it's going to be 3 weeks, right? Because we have a fifth week in
Correct.
October.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's depend on the members. So he already made the motion to pass. I didn't hear a second.
And now we have a
That's what I'm
motion
saying.
to hold.
What if I make, since something that was brought up here, an alternative, a compromise, I'll call it the great INT compromise, I make a motion for it to go to COW without recommendation of this committee. And in the meantime, they can still get us all that information. We can still
That's
meet with
correct.
them one-on-one if we need to, if we have more questions, if we don't understand this and we need help explaining this to our constituents. That's what staff is for, and we can use that time now one-on-one and not in the middle of a meeting.
Yeah.
Or with the rest of us here that understand it, we don't need to sit through that. So if we just pass it, that solves everyone's issue here.
Yeah, they can go without recommendation.
There's a motion and a second on the table. Call the
Okay.
roll to hold it here and see how that vote goes. And if that motion fails, then Alderman Yamas can make another motion.
We're taking a vote on that motion then?
Yes, I want to take a vote in the motion because we don't have a
On
second.
which motion?
You make a motion, the first motion you make to
Oh,
pass.
I understand that, no, but-
To pass.
But
Yeah,
didn't
and
have
that one
To
failed.
pass, yes. So
But then
now
there's
you wanna
another-
make the second one.
What Lash is saying is that there's another motion on the
There's a second
table now
motion.
to pass.
To hold. There's a
To-
motion
sorry,
to
to
hold,
hold
which
it.
has a
Hold.
motion and a second.
So what I was recommending was something different, so we have to
Okay,
vote
the
on that
motion,
motion.
the second motion you're gonna make is now is.
But I
to-
can't make that motion because there's already a motion's been made to hold it.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
someone has to
so-
withdraw their motion unless we vote on that.
Point of order. There's a motion and a second, and call the question. The motion was to hold the item here at this level.
You have to ask for a vote.
Okay. So is gonna vote here?
Someone made it, what they're saying is that somebody made a motion to hold it here, so we
Yes.
have to vote on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so call the roll.
Chairperson Juan Garza,
Yes,
Vice Chair Ted Masiacos,
Yes.
So to be clear, a yes vote is to hold it here for 2 weeks.
Yes.
A no vote would defeat that motion. So-
Correct.
yeah, continue.
Alderman John Lash,
Yes.
Alderman Emmanuel Llamas.
No,
Alderman Brandon Tolliver.
No.
3 yes, 2 no.
Okay, so motion hold. For 2 weeks.
Madam Chair, on another
Yes.
topic. Okay, so the motion to hold. And I will make sure to communicate with staff via email as soon as possible, any follow-up questions that I have. Thank you for your time and put into this. But while we're here, do you mind if I ask for the next meeting or at a future time, since the Chief of Staff is here and there's people from IT? I'm aware that the state of Illinois is a recipient of roughly $1.2 billion in infrastructure upgrades to complete the last mile coming from a federal grant. And I would like to see how we plan to implement and apply for that grant, seeing as how we already have somewhat of a public broadband infrastructure. What our plans are to both apply and implement it. I did see an email coming from their director of IT about that. But to see sort of, so we can see the big picture before it comes down to a 2-week vote. Because I do think that some sort of update would be good. So that's a request.
We'll take that under advisement and respond.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
no other item, a motion adjourn at 5 p.m. Thank you.